I can't believe that they didn't tell me. Not a single soul revealed anything to me. We're here at Concept2 headquarters, and guess what? Concept2 has been cooking. There's something they've been working on for a couple years behind the scenes. I just got a call a couple weeks ago, and we are here now at Concept2 headquarters to find out what it is all about, and you get the first look with me. Let's go see what it is. Welcome to Concept2 headquarters. Right now we're standing in their gym. Feels like a fairly fitting place to be talking about this whole new thing. What you're going to see is not the absolute finished product. It's very close to the finish line, but we're getting a sneak peek at this thing as it's still in development. It has been 7 years since Concept2 released their last product for the fitness market, the Bike Erg. This is going to be the fourth in their fitness product lineup. I have been around Concept2 for a long time. In fact, I've been a master instructor for them since 2011, teaching people how to use their rowing machines. However, it's important to note that I am also machine agnostic. I teach on all machines readily because I'm just happy if you're moving at the end of the day. So I say that in order to let you know I came here for the purposes of getting to show you this, but that's also the fun of all of this is you, as a result of that time spent with me coaching for them, do get a first look. Now, a quick history on Concept2. They started in 1976 making oars. In 81, they made their very first erg, their rowing machine. It was built out of pretty much basic bike parts. Their second machine, the Ski Erg, came about in 2009. 81 to 2009, between technically new products. However, through that time, you also had different generations of the rower. They changed colors, slight bits and changes here and there, adding some protection around the flywheel, making it slightly more sophisticated, a few adjustments here and there, but overall you have basically the same machine. But if that's any indication of how long it takes Concept2 to reveal a new product, you can be thankful that the last time they revealed a new product 7 years ago until we've gotten to this point today. Ready to talk about something that Concept2 has been working on for 2 years. Why should you care that Concept2 is coming out with something new? Well, if we take a look at what Concept2 has done as far as product reveals throughout the years, you find that they have developed products that they feel make sense for what interests them at that particular point in time, but it's also why they care so deeply about each of the products they make. And if that's any indication as to what purpose this product is going to serve, let me give you a little hint as to what we're going to be looking at here in a minute.
My name is Kate Smith. I've worked at Concept2 for almost 13 years, and I work in the marketing department.
I'm Greg Hammond. I work for Concept2. Been here for 27 years.
One of the wonderful things about Concept2 is this interest and need to innovate for specific things within certain markets. So if there's a need to meet, we will innovate products to meet that need.
One thing about Concept2 is we make tools that help us with our own sports, and we're a lot of mountain bikers and gravel bikers and things. So we made it for ourselves that make us better athletes, and if it works for us, it should work for everybody.
All of our other products kind of mimic an actual sport.
In the last few years, there's a need, as our customers are aging, a need to continue to strength train along with all of the work on the erg.
We're all getting older here, and so the two things that are most important that we feel is, VO2 max, cardiovascular strength, and then actual physical strength. And if we can help people with that, that's great. I mean, we're all going to use it. So
for me, I like to just have it in my house so I can maintain strength as I get older. It's that idea that we have always tended to do stuff that we were interested in ourselves to have.
This product fits the needs of women as well. Yeah. I'm almost 40. I think it's so important that women, as they age, strength train and talk about our bodies and what they can do for us and how strong they are.
We're here to play. We want to enjoy everything, and you got to do that. You got to be fit. People want to live better longer, and I see that's going to be one of our strong points. And then on top of the people who are just trying to increase their performance for their sport.
So what's changed then in that process to where you've gotten it now to this point?
We're still thinking this is kind of a prototype, the one right here almost. There's little things that won't be that noticeable in the end, but it'll make a big difference.
We certainly believe in the more input and the more iterations of an idea, the better the output at the end.
One of the things that we really wanted it to do well was legs, a push motion, a chest press kind of thing. How can we also get a pull in the smallest footprint possible? Essentially, there's 3 motions on which you can do a lot of variations.
The way that Pete and Dick have set up this company, they have always taken everyone's opinions into the mix.
I hope everybody gets enough strength that they can do whatever they want, whenever they want, and hold that as long as they can.
Enough with the history, and without further ado, let's take a look at Concept2's latest product. Isn't it beautiful? Look at this baby. I'm kidding, I'll be right back. I present to you the Concept2 StrengthErg. Check it out. What even is this thing? Based off of a desire to create a machine that can develop strength at a low risk based on the good old Concept2 flywheel, in which we can lower push, upper pull, upper push, all in an effort to create strength or strength endurance, a system that can create an immense amount of resistance based solely on the flywheel to allow you to measure work. And that is where the secret sauce lies in this machine. Now, the way that this differs from every other Concept2 machine is we are measuring really per rep here. Now, you can kind of schematic that any way that you want, but you're not necessarily working where you're constantly trying to just jam reps in. Sometimes you are able to just work on a per rep basis if we are working on actual strength. For example, a 3-rep max, if you will. These are things that you can accomplish with this machine that you don't necessarily accomplish with the others. So let's take a look at the 3 movements. First off, we have our lower press. Fairly self-explanatory here. I'm gonna fix myself in the seat, back up against the backrest, and I'm gonna grab onto these handles. You draw that machine into you and push away. You can hear that flywheel spin up. And there's a significant amount of power being put into, or force being put into each rep. Next up, to get into your upper pull, you are going to, as I've been told, put your feet onto the foot stretchers. Then you're gonna take a soft knee, you're gonna throw this brake, you're gonna pull out that pull handle, which is attached to a rope here. You fix that back against the backrest. And you get a serious pull. That is certainly equivalent to the work that I have to do for a pull-up. Following that, we can go on to our upper push, where you get this handy dandy little piece. That's just a fun big piece of steel there. I'm gonna undo that, this little wheel over here, fix that in. I'm gonna tighten up this knob, release the brake, draw this in, feet go on the ground, and boom. I'm gonna lighten this a little bit for myself. And press. I don't know if you can tell how hard I'm working, but it is very hard. Despite this being a flywheel, which you might not necessarily attach to the concept of strength, in every single one of those movements, I was working very hard. And that's what's impressive about what's been created here as far as I can see, because this is my first look at it. I'm genuinely working on strength on every single one of these movements. Now, some interesting points. There is the ability to just connect your phone to the machine, which is interesting. It is going to be usable without the PM5 monitor because there is a link here that will allow the ERGATTA app, Concept2's app, to connect directly to the machine. So you will be able to connect a phone directly to the machine, which, as far as I know, is the first of its kind with Concept2.
And that's where, say for instance, in a gym setting, if people don't have their phones with them, you know, it would go on there and be in the memory, you'd have to transcribe it to your log. But if you have your phone, it would go through ERGATTA into your, into the log there.
Sure. Who knows if that will come out for other machines in the future, but it is interesting that they've been able to develop that and put that onto this. I also have noticed bits and pieces like this rope does, I promise, detach. I don't know if I was supposed to show you that or not, but it does detach and it seems to be a quick release. What does that tell me? Well, I don't know. Maybe there are the opportunities for different attachments to this. You can probably figure out that, again, because this hasn't hit the wild yet, there are probably things that this machine will be able to do that haven't even been thought of yet. And I would say that's kind of the fun of all of this. Could I curl with this thing? Yeah, I definitely could. I could lower this and I could be working on a curl. Is that how I'm gonna use it? I don't know. But is that gonna be your use case? Maybe. It depends on what you need to do. So what do I see as the user experience on something like this? This creates an incredibly safe opportunity to work on strength.
Here, it's different. It just tells you what you did. You push or pull as hard as you can and you get a force number or a work number. And so it's just responding to what you do. And in one sense, that makes it very safe because you can't fail.
Most people don't know what it's like to experience a true 1 rep max. And that's very true. In the world of strength, we all talk about how important it is to work on strength, especially as you get older. Now, I mentioned earlier, right, a lot of Concept2 products have followed the phase or the journey of the Dreissigacker brothers' lives. They're at a point now in their lives where they want to continue to build strength, and as a result, they built this machine for their own longevity. And for that, I think that's what makes this so unique and interesting. There is a huge opportunity to work on, produce, and improve your strength. It's not much risk involved. We don't have to worry about a bar dropping on us or buying tons of plates or barbells. Here we suddenly get to produce immense amounts of work for our legs, our upper pull, our upper push, and we almost get to designate exactly how that works. This machine does not use historical metrics that Concept2 has typically used on every other machine because it is measuring work in ways that I don't even understand yet. There is definitely an onboarding to this where you have to understand the necessary use case, and I think that's best exemplified by the fact that there are no benchmarks yet because frankly, this machine doesn't even have a category yet. It's in a category of its own. It will be developed over time. Now, that's not to say that benchmarks don't exist. It just means that you as the user would create your own benchmarks and you would start to understand. For example, do you use a 3-rep leg press max or a 10-rep upper push or a 1-minute work piece? Because this is still in development, what we need to see is this machine get out into the wild and people to kind of grasp onto it and figure out their own use cases. And once again, I'll come back to this point of, as you start to understand this more, what do you see as the use cases for this? Because I'm by no means the expert here. I'm just as novice as you are when it comes to this machine now. But where we're coming from is, hey, what is the use case for this? What will the users experience?
I think people will gravitate depending also on what their goals or their sport or what they're training for. There'll be variations on that for sure.
I think it depends on the goal of that customer. If their goal is to improve their rowing, the StrengthErg will do that because it's going to increase the strength of those primary movements. I think also if their goal is to switch up their movements to have more variety in the workout, I think it's well suited for that because you could just isolate a given movement and then pair it with certain exercise on the rower. And then you've got the other element of any body weight things or any extras. So these could be 2 major components to any workout. And then you could always add in another variety.
The cool thing about the StrengthErg is you can actually look at work as well. So you have 2 choices. How do you like your pain? Do you want to take more reps and push more lightly? Or do you want to take less reps and push harder? Either way, you're basically trying to see how fast you can go from a large number to a small number. And I actually think it's really cool. I'm really warmed up to it. So.
Different types of workouts, like you can do, a set of 3 for as high a force as you can get, do a set of 30, or you can go for a minute.
My workout routine now is I strength train 2 to 3 days a week, and then I'll get on the bike erg, and then I bike outside, ski outside. But I'm very excited to incorporate this with the other ergs.
And it's truly something that someone who's only capable of a very low force could use it. Or we've designed all the parts and components to withstand like a 1,500-pound leg press.
So there are a whole lot of questions that have yet to be answered, but what I can tell you is that this is going to be coming to market. Now, if you are going to be at the head of the Charles. That is the first time that it is going to be available. If you are potentially here now whenever this video is released and it is head of the Charles weekend, I will be there, and I'll probably be stopping by the Concept2 booth and hanging out and talking to people about this machine, because I'm genuinely curious to hear others' input as well, but it will be on display there. And from everything that I've been told, Q1 of 2025 is the anticipated release of this. Now, there's definitely some float room in there, right? It's a quarter, so you got a few months to work with. I'm curious, do you plan on putting one into your lineup of machines? I definitely anticipate bringing this into mine. I kind of love the strength that I'm able to produce with this, but again, this is my first flush, so time will tell exactly how I feel about this thing. But I do think that it is a very unique take on a machine that stands in a category of its own, unlike anything else that I know of that really exists out there. And for that, I applaud them. And what I think you really can't take away is that the brothers Dreissigacker have developed this thing to, again, chase their own longevity, chase the life that they are living in this moment. And I just think that's what's so interesting about the legacy of all the products that Concept2 has created over time, is that that has been the storyline throughout the entire 50-year history of Concept2. So where does that leave us? Well, you got a new Concept2 machine coming your way, the StrengthErg, but let's hear your thoughts. Drop them in the comments below.